I'm delighted to be here with the Deputy Prime Minister and Treasurer Wayne Swan and the Minister for Disability Reform, Jenny Macklin. And we are here today to make an important announcement, an announcement that is important for all Australians. Every Australian lives with the prospect that at some time in their lives they or one of their family members could be confronted by a profound disability. A child born into your family with cerebral palsy, an older relative who gets one of the debilitating diseases that can come with older age, someone who has an accident and acquires a brain injury as a result. At the moment in our nation, if this happened to you or one of your family members, whether or not you would get the care you needed would depend. It would depend on the circumstances in which you acquired your disability. It would depend on where you lived in Australia. It would depend on your family's income and the ability of your family to provide support for you. It would depend on whether the patchwork of services out there managed to meet your needs, whether you got in before they reached their cut-off and could assist no one else, whether what you wanted fitted with what they were able to provide. We are determined to change all of that, to create a new body, disability care, which would ensure that the current underfunded, fragmented system of services is replaced and replaced for the long term, that Australians with profound and significant disabilities would get the support that they needed, and that would give their families and carers the peace of mind they need to know that their loved one is getting appropriate support. This is a big agenda for change, and we have been working on it step by step. On the 1st of July this year, disability care will launch in a number of locations around Australia, and then we want to move from those launch arrangements to a full national scheme. We've always been frank that that will take some years and that we need to work with our state and territory counterparts to get it done. But we are very determined that it should be done, not only as a matter of fairness for the 410,000 Australians who currently have a disability, but as a support for every Australian, because we never know what life's chances and life's risks might bring for us or our families. Many Australians, of course, would say yes, we should have disability care. We should build on Labor's great Medicare model to create a new system of supporting people with disabilities. That's when the choices come in about how you fund disability care for the long term. So I'm here today to announce that the choice that I and my colleagues have made is that disability care should be supported by a 0.5% increase in the Medicare levy. That's an increase of 0.5%. What that means is for an Australian who is on an average income of, say, $70,000 a year, that they would be asked to contribute around $1 a day in extra Medicare levy to create disability care, to get the peace of mind that will come with knowing that there are support services for them or their families if they ever confront a disability during their lifetimes. What this will enable us to do is to raise money through this increase to the Medicare levy. All of the money raised will be put in a special fund for disability care. It will be put in a special fund and only spent on disability care and its creation and the rollout of services. The first day on which this increase in the Medicare levy would come into effect would be the 1st of July 2014. Every cent raised would be spent on disability care. As I said earlier, we do need to work with the states and territories to get disability care rolled out across Australia. We have been seeking to enter agreements with states and territories for them to step up their efforts to reach appropriate benchmarks to roll out this new system of care for Australians with disabilities in their jurisdictions. Some states have already said that they will step up, others are considering it. But we understand that this too is putting pressure on state budgets. So we are intending to make grants from this new fund to states and territories, equivalent to a quarter of the amount raised. So a quarter of the amount raised would be used for grants to states and territories. Those grants would be used to assist states and territories with the costs that come with building up to the full scheme in states and territories. The arrangements that I'm announcing today for the support of states and territories are 10-year arrangements. At the end of 10 years, when the system is well and truly in full operation, then there would be an appropriate review of the shares between the federal government and the state government in supporting disability care. To announce what we have today, we've needed to make a choice, and I will be asking the nation in September to make a choice too, to endorse this plan to make sure that we support disability care around Australia. Now, it is true that last year I had hoped that we could fund what we needed to do for disability care out of the money that was already available to government, that we could do it through savings. And of course we have been working long and hard on responsible savings, things like the changes we've made to the private health insurance rebate to free up money for priorities like disability care. But I do today say that I have thought about this deeply and I have changed my mind. I've changed my mind for 3 reasons. First, it is clear from what I said to the nation on Monday that the amount of tax money coming to the government is not what we expected. Second, through my dialogue with the states and territories, it has become clearer to me the dimensions of the fiscal ask we are putting on states and territories, and that we will be able to see the national rollout of disability care occur more easily if there is some more support for states and territories to get it done. And third, I have heard loud and clear the calls from disability advocates, from the disability sector, from people with disabilities themselves, from their family members, their friends and carers, to make sure that there is peace of mind and security around funding arrangements for disability care. Now, I do want to be clear, the amount raised from the additional Medicare levy will not fund the full cost of disability care when it's in full operation. The government will need to make savings for that full cost, and there will be no free ride for states and territories. They'll need to step up too. But the announcement we are making today does enable us to get this done for the nation, and I will be asking the Australian people to endorse this choice in September.